Is black box testing enough for your software application testing? Ever wonder if simple click of a button in an application with certain combination can break your entire application? Well, guess what is going to be the solution for this problem? Welcome to software testing. Software testing is an art of testing a software by understanding the user requirement and verify how software works. So software test will help you identify the issue before it lands on the customer's hand. So what is this black box testing then? Well, black box testing is like anyone using an app without knowing how it is built. You test the app and functionality without peeking into the actual application code. And that's what is the black box testing. Consider this like you using a remote control of a TV without knowing how the underlying technology works. You can take the same analogy with this login operation as you can see. If you try to log in within an application using a username and password, if you don't know exactly how the authentication mechanism of an application works, then that's exactly how you do with the black box testing. Because in black box testing, you have no idea how the system works. Then what is the advantage of this black box testing? Well, with black box testing, you don't necessarily have to write any piece of code. You just have to do pretty much like how an user does the testing of the application. And you just need to meet the user requirement as how the user interacts with the system without you writing any automated code for that. And the other advantage is it's very, very easy to catch software bug just by doing manual testing of your application. Well, this seems to be a good news for the fresher who just want to get into software testing field. But what are the major disadvantages or things can go wrong with this black box testing? And what are the disadvantages of having a black box testing just using it for the application to be tested? Well, in that case, you just have to think about white box testing. Well, if you have a clear understanding of how the application source code work, and if you have a good knowledge of the application itself, you can easily debug the application by getting through each and every lines of code and then understand how the underlying system work. And that is very, very helpful for you to test the application. Not only that, if your application is small, then the testing of the application is going to be very, very straightforward. But what if your application starts to become bigger from this architecture to all the way like a modern monolith to an event-driven complex system? Then it is going to be super hard for you to test the entire application just by using the black box testing. Because as you can see, an application can have many moving parts like running an application in a microservice containers, and will have multiple different databases, and they will be hosted in many different cloud service providers. And for a user, just to perform a simple operation, it's just going to be entering a username and password and getting authenticated into that application. But for a tester, it is not just like a user, but you have to go beyond to see how each and every component of the application talks with each other and performs the intended operation by testing every single component. And that's when black box testing starts becoming more disadvantageous. Then what is the possible solution for the problem that you're talking about with black box testing? Well, combine both the black box testing and white box testing together to perform the entire testing of your application. Because sometimes you as a tester may be very good at finding the bug by even just doing a black box testing. But sometimes once you get into the application source code and start digging around, pretty much like how you do it like a white box tester to understand the nitty-gritty details of how the application system works, then you may find quite a lot of issues. As you can see in this code base over here, we just write the scenarios pretty much how the black box tester writes the manual testing code, something like this. But behind the scene, you'll also notice that there are quite a lot of implementations exist over here to see how the system actually works behind the scene. And not only that, you performs pretty much exactly the same kind of operation like how the user does using the automated testing tools like Playwright or Selenium, and get the testing done even more faster than from the manual testing operation. But the first and the foremost important thing to observe in here is that as a test engineer, as a quality engineer, you have to always be one step ahead of the developers to understand how the system works and how you can identify each and every bug, not just by writing the test code like this, but you also need to understand how you can identify the issue and even suggest how to rectify the problems in a much, much earlier stage. And that way we can improve the quality of the product without compromising the quality and hand over the better product to the consumers so that your company and the product that you're testing will always be a user-friendly and highest rated app in the app stores. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you like this video, hit subscribe button to see more such videos. Catch you in the next one.